I don't want to slip on the floor. That beige membrane at the bottom?
That's some eye juice here.
Did I? Well, then put a paper towel at that. See the beige membrane?
Nobody wants to see the eye like this.
That's the this little ball thing right there is the lens. And the little black part, look, now the chair's contaminated, right? Oh, everybody's tripping about that. So then, let me just pop some of this out. And the retina's detaching. I am detaching the retina. I'm giving retinal detachment. And unfortunately, the rods and cones that does vision is in that beige membrane. So if this happens with you, what's one of the most classic reasons? High blood pressure. This person would be blind. This beautiful membrane, see how pretty it is? That's the choroid. That's where the blood supply is at.
Which one, the white one?
No, see this pretty
Oh, that bluish color?
bluish streak in there?
What is
See
that
it?
called?
That's the choroid. So on the board, the choroid, I should have added that. Choroid is where blood supply is at. This beige membrane is where the rods and cones. Rods let you do graded black. Cones do color.
So
That would be this. If this happened with somebody, see how thin and fragile it is. If that happened with somebody, they're blind. Because this is where your ability to see. This is the receptor. The receptors that do the receptor potential to move the optic nerve to action potential is in that beige membrane. Did you see how easy I just rolled it off? So this pretty membrane, see the like shiny? That's where the blood supply is at, which was underneath. Give me a paper towel. Thanks. So then all you have to do, and then I'm going to take the vitreous humor off on the other side and detach the lens. There's the lens. There's the lens.
it looks exactly the same way in a human?
Yeah, it looks just like that with us. That's the lens. That's what then
It
takes
looks like a marble.
those 270, it does look like a marble, that 270 degrees of visual information and shrinks it and turns it upside down so it can hit the back of the eye. Inside, I'll leave this up front, you'll be able to see this hole that's right here, that's the pupil. So the pupil is just a hole. That's the pupil. The iris is, the hole is a pupil. So a pupil is not actually a physical structure. It's just a hole. The little black flaps, this hole is just a pupil. The black flaps are on either side is the iris, the colored part of the eye. And the cow's black.
So this is going to be on our midterm exam?
I have to add the choroid. No, your final.
This is on our final. So
Now,
you would basically be like...
I'd have an
identify what this
eyeball
is.
sitting on a tray. I'd have pins in something, and I'm going to leave this because as I push the rest of that vitreous humor back, you'll be able to see that there's this radial area where the lens was attaching. And that radial area, I can see it, but you're going to have to come up closer so you can see it. You see there's a radial area right there?
Like the groove.
That groove? That groove is the corona radiata.
And that's around what?
That's where the lens fit. It actually attached to the lens. I destroyed the connection when I popped it out. So this is the ciliary ligament.
So where's the iris?
The iris is the black flaps.
Okay.
That would be brown or blue or gray or whatever your eye color is.
And what is that? The circle thing?
This circle thing is the corona radiata that's on the board. Now the only thing that's left that I didn't put is the optic nerve stump. So I'd have to dig around a little bit, find me where the optic nerve stump is. But I have a little bit of
So what is that hanging right here? Is that fat you said?
This is mostly fat. You all have fat in your eye. The bulk of what keeps your eye in position, you have muscles in there that are related to the cranial nerves. And so the muscles, some of them are barely still attached on. If I dig around a little bit, I'll find the optic nerve stump. Now I picked the driest, toughest one in there. You want an eyeball that's a little bit more liquidy and juicy so that, yeah, not only because then the membranes don't break apart as easily as this one. This one is an old one, so I picked one that I wouldn't want you all to pick. I'll find the optic nerve. There it is. That's the optic nerve stump.
That's for one.
This is cranial nerve 1.
Wow.
Can you
It's
point to it?
right there. Cranial nerve 1. So, cranial nerve 1, this little stump right there.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It is big. So, when you saw, see this little
Is it there?
That's cranial nerve 1. So you have the cornea, which is the part, the little half moon part, the sclera, which
the
should be,
cornea at? One more
that's
time.
this little part right here. On you, it's the clear part. You see your iris, which is the colored part of your eye, the brown, the gray, the green,
And where the
is that
sclera?
black membrane on
That's
either
the sclera, right?
sclera is what should be white but is gray in a cow.
Okay.
Then you had the lens, which I just put down here.
I'm sorry. Can you? What's the difference between the sclera and the cornea?
The cornea is the clear part on the front of your eye that you look
It's like
through.
a membrane. Is that what you're saying?
It's a clear membrane. That in a cow, remember this has been preserved in formalin, it's now cloudy.
And that's
That's the cornea.
the lens is behind that.
The lens is behind it. But it's behind the iris, is the colored part of the eye. That's these black flaps that would be blue or green. Notice that's in the center of the corona radiata. The corona radiata is where the lens attaches in. So I'm just putting the lens back in position. I detached the retina, which was this gray membrane. The rods and cones that does color vision, black and white vision, are in that gray membrane. The shiny membrane is the choroid, which is blood supply.
That's what you can add to the list.
The choroid is just this. If I put a pin, it doesn't matter whether it's in the black part or the shiny part, the opalescent part, it's still a choroid, which is the blood supply to the eye, to the inner eye.
Choroid look like that too,
Yes.
like shiny and stuff.
You might want to clean.
What is the gel?